What's up, Hoopheads? Harrison Graham here from Chat Sports, and on today's show, we're going to get into our post-NBA trade deadline power rankings as the deadline came and went yesterday. We'll rank them from worst to first. Who are the biggest risers, biggest fallers? We'll dive into all that in just a moment. But first, I want to hear from you guys. Light up the comment section right now. Which team improved the most at the NBA trade deadline? Like, which team made the moves that you like? You're like, oh, okay, they could be moving up based on where they were before the trade deadline. If you have a team that comes to mind, let us know in the comment section down below. There are a few that I think stand out personally. Then I think there are a few that either should have done more. I didn't love what they do or what they did. We will dive into all that, like I said. All right, let's start at 30. I'll be honest, I almost had the Pistons at 29 because look out. They've won 4 out of their last 10, 2 straight. Don't let Detroit get hot. All jokes aside, they're still a pretty bad basketball team. They traded away Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. This team is not going to win more than 15 games this year. The Washington Wizards were the team I considered putting at 30 after they traded Daniel Gafford away. They're obviously in a bad way. They decided to keep Kyle Kuzma, who's had a pretty good season, but overall they're not really competitive. The Charlotte Hornets, they traded away P.J. Washington to the Dallas Mavericks. I feel like they should be better than what they are based on some of the young talent they have, but it has just not gone well. I would say the same is true with the San Antonio Spurs. There was a lot of hype coming in with Victor Wembanyama this year. Obviously, he's just a rookie. It's going to take time, but it doesn't feel like that young core is meshing that well. Only 10-42 this year. At 26, the Portland Trail Blazers, who have played a tick better after a slow start to the season, but they're still a long way away from where they want to be. 25, the Toronto Raptors, who made kind of a flurry of moves, starting with trading Siakam and Anunoby a few weeks ago, but also at the deadline as well. They kind of compiled some expiring contracts so they can be flexible this offseason, but certainly not competing this year. Kind of a throwaway year for the Memphis Grizzlies. They struggled without Ja Morant during his suspension. Then he got injured quickly after he came back. So I think they're going to retool for next year and be a good team, but for this year, not so much. The Brooklyn Nets, just a bizarre year. They had a good year last year. This year it's kind of been an interesting season. They traded Spencer Dinwiddie. He got bought out. I thought they should have traded Dorian Finney-Smith. There was a report out there they got offered 2 first-round picks. I would have taken that and tried to, be a seller and kind of retool this offseason, but they opted not to do that. At number 22, the Atlanta Hawks, they hang on to DeJounte Murray. They're kind of right on the bubble of being in the play-in tournament in the Eastern Conference. I just don't know where this team is going. Like, do they expect to contend with their current core? I don't really see it. 21, the Houston Rockets, who came out of the gates flying. They've kind of fallen back to reality a little bit, but I would still say ahead of schedule based on where they were last year. They are on the outside looking in of making a top 10 appearance aka into the play-in tournament in the Western Conference, which is very tough. They've lost a few games recently, but I think they're doing some good things. If they could win 35 to 40 games this year, I would say that's a very good step in the right direction. We'll get into the top 20 in just a moment, but first, got to tell you about our sponsor. That is Prize Picks. The biggest day of the year to play Prize Picks is coming up, Super Bowl Sunday. It is daily fantasy made easy. You can play on a nightly basis with the NBA, college hoops, NHL, but Super Bowl Sunday is really when you want to dial up Prize Picks, so go do so. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. Got a 4-player entry right here, 10 to win $100. They've got the special going on, half a passing yard for Patrick Mahomes, so that's a gimme. You take the more. Like Brock Purdy to scramble a couple of times, reach that rushing total. Isaiah Pacheco's been a touchdown machine, so I think he finds the end zone. And then Kyle Juszczyk, I think he gets 1 touch in this game. So all mores on this entry. 10 to win 100. Again, go get signed up today, prizepicks.com/CLNS. That code CLNS when you sign up. Get your deposit match up to $100. And what's cool about Prize Picks right now is you can see celebrities' picks for Super Bowl Sunday. So if you want to tail them, if you want to kind of zag away from them, you can do that. Go check them out. Link is in the comments and in the description. Got the Chicago Bulls at number 20. Kind of similar to Atlanta. I feel like they're just kind of stuck in the middle. Like they've played better after a slow start, but they're not really a contender. They're the 9th seed in the East right now, and they're pretty safe to make the play-in, but what's this team's ceiling? Making it to the first round of the playoffs? I thought standing pat for Chicago was dumb, to be frank. I would have traded DeMar DeRozan. I would have traded Andre Drummond. I would have been open to trading Alex Caruso, but they're hanging on to their pieces, and they're going to try and make a push, I guess. But I don't know what this team's ceiling is right now. Number 19, the Utah Jazz, who have been playing better recently. Last year kind of looked like fool's gold, but as of late, they've strung some wins together. We'll see if they can make a push in the West. Kind of stuck in the middle there. Number 18, the Orlando Magic. Record-wise, they would be higher if you just rank this based purely on overall record, but after that really fast start to the season, they've kind of been like a slightly below 500 team for a couple of months now. Still pretty good considering where they've been for over a decade now, but I don't consider them some major contender. Like if they made it into a first-round playoff series, that would be a successful season. The Golden State Warriors at number 17, like again, record-wise, they'd be lower, but they've won 3 games in a row. They stood pat at the deadline after there was a lot of chatter. Maybe they'd trade Klay Thompson or Andrew Wiggins. 3 straight wins. Can they make a push and get into the top 7 or 8 in the West? We'll have to wait and see. Same with the Lakers. They stood pat, 27-26. I still believe in this team to an extent. I don't think they're a title team, but last year they were kind of around this at the trade deadline. But what I like what they did last year is they added some pieces. They didn't do that this year. Then they got hot. They're banking on internally improving with their current roster. However, they are also linked to Spencer Dinwiddie, who is from the Los Angeles area. He got bought out, so sounds like it's them or Dallas for Dinwiddie. Of course, he played with the Mavs a couple of years ago and played really well there, so we'll see where he ends up going. But if they could add him, that would be a nice bench type of score, so we'll see if the Lakers can kind of put it together the final 30, 35 games. All right, the Indiana Pacers next up here, number 15. Pretty good year right now with Rick Carlisle. Tyrese Halliburton's missed some time. That hasn't been helpful. They traded Buddy Hield, which is an interesting move. I don't know what to make of that one, to be quite honest with you. I don't think that helps you this year, but should be a playoff team in the East, but I don't think they're a team that's really threatening to make a deep run. The Miami Heat are the one team in this range that you feel like, okay, obviously they are capable of making a run. Last year they had to get out of the play-in tournament. They were like 3 minutes away from not even getting into a first-round series before they put the Bulls away late in that play-in game, and then they went all the way to the finals. They've played a little better as of late. I thought they would make a move at the deadline. They did not, so we'll see if Eric Spoelstra's crew can turn up the heat a little bit. At number 13, the 76ers, again, record-wise, they would be higher, probably in the top 10, but with Joel Embiid out, I've got them a little bit lower. It's unclear how long he's going to be out. I do like them adding Buddy Hield from the Indiana Pacers. I think that helps their offense. They need more scoring while Embiid is out. And if Embiid can get back, I think he's an even better fit because he can catch passes off double teams and knock down three-pointers. They also flipped Pat Beverly for Cam Payne, which I didn't really agree with. I thought that was a bizarre move, but I like the Hield addition. We'll see if they can stay afloat and hopefully get Embiid back. Number 12, the Sacramento Kings. I don't think they've been quite as good this year as they were last year, but they're still very capable. They can score a lot of points. They hung on to Harrison Barnes. There was some chatter they could flip him, but he's still there. I think they're a Tier 2 Western Conference team right now. We'll see if they can kind of refine some of that form from last year. The Dallas Mavericks at 11. I've got them above Sacramento here because I think the moves they made at the deadline raises their ceiling above the Kings. You add Daniel Gafford here for Rashawn Holmes and a first that you acquired from OKC and a future pick swap. So that was a pretty good trade. You basically go from Rashawn Holmes to Daniel Gafford, which is a massive upgrade. PJ Washington's an upgrade over Grant Williams. You had to give up a first to do it, but you got 2 seconds back. So I think Washington and Gafford are 2 legitimate rotation pieces. Both are capable starters. I think Gafford will probably be the backup center behind rookie Derek Lively. But I thought out of all the teams yesterday that were not title contenders going in, Dallas might at least have a chance to be into that range. I don't think they are yet. I have to see how this group plays together, but I do think they improved. Are the Mavs a title contender? Why for yes and for no? I'd still say no right now, but they've played better since Kyrie's returned from injury. Obviously, they need him to stay healthy. if Washington and Gafford fit in well, maybe that could change my opinion on that, but I do think their ceiling got raised. All right, top 10 we go here on our post-trade deadline power rankings. The New Orleans Pelicans, there was chatter they may take a swing at DeJounte Murray, but no deal materialized, so they kind of stood pat. They're having a good year. My biggest question with New Orleans is, who's their true number one? I think Ingram's that guy, but can he be a number one on a team that makes a Western Conference Finals? I have serious doubts about that. The Phoenix Suns, we know that they are star-studded, right? They got Kevin Durant. They got Devin Booker. They have Bradley Beal. I like the Royce O'Neal addition at the trade deadline. Gives them some more depth and 3-and-D capabilities off the bench. I still don't love how top-heavy they are overall, but they have been playing better for the last month and a half. The Milwaukee Bucks, you guys might be thinking, wow, all the way down to 8. They have been terrible under Doc Rivers. I question what's going on in that locker room right now. I mean, they run Adrian Griffin out of there because they didn't trust him anymore, according to reports. And their answer was, let's go get Doc Rivers and pay him a bunch of money. Well, they're 1-5 with Doc. The defense has been worse. They just got hammered last night. I can't even remember who they lost to. But they've had a couple of really ugly losses since he's been on board. I mean, got to give it time, I suppose, but I don't think their title chances improve with Doc, and if anything, they might have gotten worse considering his track record in the postseason. Help us out. Hit that subscribe button if you want more NBA content. All you got to do is subscribe. It is 100% free. You can turn on the notification bell as well. We're publishing videos every single day on the channel, NBA, NFL, some college football. If you're a big sports fan, give us a chance. Subscribe. The New York Knicks at number 7 ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, let me be clear. I think the Bucks' ceiling is higher with Giannis and Dame and company, but the Knicks are playing better ball right now, and I like the trade they made yesterday. You get Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec Burks in there, 2 legitimate rotation pieces, especially in Bogdanovic, who can really score, 20-point scorer for them. Neither of them gives you great defense, so I don't know if they'll be in the closing lineup, but with Julius Randle and OG Anunoby being out right now, and those injuries are a concern, but I think both will be back, Bogdanovic really helps, especially in the short term. He can play that 3-4 spot, which is where Randle and OG kind of play at times. Burks can give you some depth at that shooting guard position. So I like the way the Knicks are playing. Jalen Brunson's having a career year, so if they're fully healthy come playoff time, I think they're kind of like a tier 2 title contender. I wouldn't put them like on the Mount Rushmore of contenders, but I put them in that tier 2. Same with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They've won 14 of 15. They're scorching hot right now. A lot of Donovan Mitchell offseason rumors already leaking, but if they're playing like this, they're going to have a chance. They're playing good basketball right now, and Mitchell's played really well the last couple of months quietly, so Cleveland's a team to watch out for, no doubt about it. I got the Timberwolves at number 5. I know they've been at or near the top of the West all season long. I still have them at 5. It's not like I don't believe in them, but I have questions come postseason time. I mean, we haven't seen this group do it before, and frankly, that's true with the Thunder as well. I mean, you could argue these have been the 2 most consistent teams in the West all year, so they should be 1 and 2, 2 and 3, whatever. Still have them top 5. They deserve a lot of praise and credit for what they've done this year, but big questions come postseason time. Now, I really like the Gordon Hayward addition for Oklahoma City. Gives them a veteran piece who's been through the postseason battles. Minnesota, that core has grown together the last couple of years, so you would think they're ready for the next step, but I got to see them do it, so I got them at 4 and 5. Who do you think the bigger contender out of these 2 teams is? You think it's Minnesota or OKC? Type MIN for the Timberwolves, OKC for the Thunder. That'll be a fascinating thing come playoff time to see which of these young, rising teams can make a deeper run. How about the LA Clippers, man? I mean, they're quietly just plugging away. You can make a strong argument for the past month and a half or so, this has been the best team in basketball. I'm not a big James Harden guy, but he's fit in pretty well. Kawhi and Paul George have been healthy this year. I think they like being under the radar, right? When they first traded for Kawhi, or signed Kawhi and traded for Paul George, spotlight was on them. They kept having injuries in big moments, and they just couldn't live up to the billing. This year, no one really considered them as a true contender coming in, and they've proven to be exactly that. So it's been impressive to see. Ty Lue's a hell of a coach, so maybe this is the Clippers' time. Who knows? Boston Celtics at number 2. They've got the best record in the NBA. They've been the best team in the East all year. You could certainly put them at number 1. They've got the ingredients. I wish they had a better true point guard, but other than that, they're a pretty flawless roster. If Kristaps Porzingis can be healthy in the playoffs, I think that gives them a really dynamic team. I just have Denver 1 because I just saw them do it last year. We know Jamal Murray raises his game in the playoffs. They've got a good nucleus. They know how to win. So I still think they're the team to beat, but it's a 1A, 1B situation. I kind of just gave Denver the tiebreaker because they are the defending champs. All right, guys, that's it. Our post-trade deadline power rankings. If you agree with some, disagree, that's what the comment section's for. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be reading all of them. And don't forget to subscribe. If you love the NBA, we got you covered all the time here on Chat Sports. We'll see you guys soon.